Let me show you something. Let me show you something.
Well, night has fallen over Cousins Gymnasium here in Medford, Massachusetts, on the campus of Tufts University, but that means that the beasts have been awakened, and the hometown heroes are here for their first matchup of the NCAA Division III Volleyball Tournament. Welcome, everybody, to our final game of coverage here at JumboCast of the first day of NCAAs, as we have the Tufts Jumbos going up against the Johnson & Wales Bobcats in what hopefully is an exciting matchup, with the winner of this game going to face off against Babson tomorrow night. I'm Andrew Howe, joined alongside Jordan Burke. He's going to slide in, even though we already did this before earlier today. Jordan?
It's my thing. I slide in.
Very exciting game. Of course, we get to finally see the Jumbos on their home court. Didn't get to see that last year, but now an opportunity trying to make their return to the Elite Eight where they were last year.
Well said, Andrew. We have a battle of champions here today. You have the Jumbos coming in representing the NESCAC as the NESCAC champions, and you have the Johnson & Wales Wildcats, the GNAC champions. Interesting storyline is last year Johnson & Wales was eliminated in the first round of the NCAA tournament by the at the then time NESCAC champion Bowdoin Polar Bears, yet again finding themselves against a NESCAC champion in round one. We'll see if they've learned anything from last year, playing against some of the best teams that we have to offer here in the NESCAC, and whether or not they're able to take on a pretty tough Jumbos lineup.
See what you did there. Nice Tufts Jumbos lineup here. If you're just joining us for the first time on JumboCast for the day, it's been a very busy day for us, specifically Jordan, who has been here for all four of the games. He came back halfway through. But as you see here, Scranton versus St. John Fisher went the way of Scranton. MIT defeated Maine Maritime, and just a couple of hours ago, Babson pulled off a very strong win over Swarthmore. As we take a look at the bracket, we only have one more round of 64 game to go, as the Jumbos are going to be facing off against Johnson & Wales, winner playing against Babson tomorrow night at around 8 Eastern.
I'm taken aback. Sorry, the music choice is absolutely excellent. They busted out Narco. I have no bias. I am a Mets fan. This is Edwin Diaz's song, Cough Cough, not yours, William Contreras of the Atlanta Braves. Baseball aside, we got some volleyball here today. It's a great song choice. The gym is up and amped. The players walking in, see some dancing from the benches. Everyone's excited here for today's matchup, and it should be a really good one. You know, you have two teams that are just very well-rounded all the way around, and each of them having their own stars as well. You have the Johnson & Wales team featuring Peyton Oliver, a listed middle blocker. Saw her taking some swings and hitting lines from the outside position with a 400-plus kill season. Absolutely incredible for her. A Jumbos lineup that featured two girls in the All-NESCAC first conference team, two girls who made the second team, all headed underneath by the coach of the year for the NESCAC, Cora Thompson.
It's very exciting stuff, and some talent across the board, not just in this game, but also in the other games that we have had throughout the day. We're going to take a look at some of the numbers of the 8 teams that have, of course, made it to this stage of the NCAA tournament. Of course, of the 8 teams, 5 were the champions of their conference. 2 of them ranked in the top 25. 139 total rostered players, a combined 9,737 kills issued by these 8 teams, who combined for a 738 winning percentage, and 5 different states represented, 2 of them here in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. And of course, a 559-mile trip to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania awaits the winner of this Medford Regional.
And 559 miles, that's a little further down the road, but right now we're going to highlight that 2 ranked teams, because one of them is our very own Tufts Jumbos, currently ranked 19th in the nation in volleyball. We saw number 18 MIT earlier. They took their win, and we'll see if the Jumbos can follow suit. We've speculated as to what some of the matchups might look like in the end. Every team obviously is coming out and they are playing very well, but if you look at stats, if you look at the ways that the teams have played throughout the season when they've played against certain teams, Tufts has beaten some teams that have beaten Johnson & Wales, and the way that things go, we expect an excellent matchup to come in the final between the Jumbos and the Engineers, but standing in the way of that is a pretty solid Wildcat lineup that is looking to send the Jumbos, home isn't too far, but looking to keep them here instead of sending them to Pittsburgh.
This team is very good, Johnson & Wales, of course, winning their conference. 2 very strong hitters, as you mentioned earlier, in Oliver and Miller, and they really can get hot. And if you know, if some of their shots begin to fall to the floor, if the Tufts defense isn't able to react properly, that could be a pretty big problem for this team. And of course, you know, an upset hasn't happened yet today. The supposed underdogs haven't even taken a set off of their higher quote-unquote ranked opponents so far today. But, you know, there's a first time for everything, and hopefully for the Jumbos, that's not right now.
Yeah, we had said in the previous game that we would suspect that one to be the most competitive, you know, probably see a little bit further gameplay. We didn't expect it to go straight sets. We were predicting 4s. We were predicting 5-set matches out of the Swarthmore-Babson game. But I feel like you could say a very similar thing here as well. You know, the Jumbos are coming off of an incredibly high win to take down the NESCAC champion, the regular season NESCAC champion in the Wesleyan Cardinals. And, you know, they've had some time off, but they've also shown that sometimes they can be a little bit sluggish out of the gate, not necessarily going out to early leads. We saw it in their match against Colby, where they went down 2-0, had to come out with a reverse sweep to win that one. So if you know, that's the type of Jumbos team that shows up today, where they're slumping in the beginning, they haven't necessarily found their rhythm, they're not getting out to these early leads, then Johnson & Wales has every opportunity to come back in, establish a lead of their own, and just coast their way through some set victories, and in their hopes try and win this matchup here against the Jumbos. And they have the players to do it as well.
Be a tough road to the Sweet 16 and eventually the Elite 8. Of course, winner facing off against Babson, and you would expect MIT, the number 18th ranked team in the country, to have some good success tomorrow to set up a potential date with whoever comes out of this quadrant, so to speak. The starting lineups have been announced for both of the teams. Interesting to note, for the starting lineups for the Jumbos, it will be Riley Farragher paired alongside Matty Yu in that 6'2" right side setter formation, which you know, implies that Zoe Gregory will be alongside Maya Lightfoot. We've seen these pairs kind of be shifted around every once in a while, but this is the setup that the Jumbos are going to be rolling with for the start of this NCAA tournament. Yeah,
and I wouldn't be surprised if down the road that inevitably changes. You know, the Jumbos really do have 3 solid right side hitting options in Riley Farragher, Maya Lightfoot, and Tori Golden. We've seen Golden also come out and play from the outside hitter position, so I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, things start to get a little shaky if they don't have the best of matchups and this set ends up being close or they get blown out, that lineup substitutions would be something that Coach Thompson has no problem going to and making adjustments as needed.
Has been able to do it a couple of times in some pretty key spots to, you know, either spark plug the offense, the defense, or really just give the Jumbos as good of an advantage as they possibly can. As you see the starting lineups unveiled right now. On the Johnson & Wales side, it will be Jackney starting up on the middle, with Corbett at the libero position, alongside, of course, Miller and Oliver, the 2 players that we're very much expecting to be here, but maybe not in the same position. You see, of course, Oliver and Jackney lined up next to each other, the 2 quote-unquote middles of this team, which implies, of course, that Oliver will be starting off this game on the right side.
Yeah, we had speculated that Oliver might be coming in and not playing that traditional middle position, and right now she's lined up in the right side.
We're underway here in Cousins Gymnasium, and the first kill of this NCAA tournament game will go over to Christine Audette.
Speaking on the right side, just a beautiful approach right there. In serve receive, Audette over on that right side, not going to move over to the outside position that she traditionally plays, just takes a great swing and follows it up with an even better serve.
Nice dig from Corbett. Yu's going to set up Legree, that early middle attack. Again, going to be prevalent here throughout this game. Look over to the left side. Janelle Yarwood gets involved. The Tufts outside hitters each have 1 kill to open off the set of the first set.
Earlier today, Janelle Yarwood named to that All-NESCAC Conference first team and comes swinging right out of the gate, gets a free line shot up against Oliver, who was taking away the inside of the court. And it seems like we have a continuing theme throughout the day here, Andrew, where the second that runs start to be had by any team in this tournament, a service error pops up and the momentum is killed.
Johnson & Wales now on the serve. Yarwood will give over a free ball to the Bobcats. It'll be Miller. Legree and Riley Farragher are able to collectively help out. Joust up front. Point Jumbos, as I believe it's a 4-ball on the side of the Johnson & Wales Bobcats. Bit of a miscommunication there.
Yet again, it's that pesky overpass where a back row setter tries to go up and save it, breaks the height of the net, ends up with the ball on the other side, automatic point over to the other team.
Miller this time from the right side, sails out of bounds. Jumbo's off to a quick 4-0 lead.
Oliver looking a little uncomfortable from that right side position. She didn't take any warm-up swings from there earlier, and the approach is a little different than the outside where she was swinging from.
Yarwood, another spot is found on the court. Right on the bottom left corner, Janelle Yarwood sends the lead up to 4.
I don't know if the Jumbos were really out of system there. It looks like that one might have been drawn up perfectly, or at the very least, Yarwood with just great vision, able to find a hole and put the ball to the floor.
And the first kill of the game for Johnson & Wales finds the way of Peyton Oliver, the junior out of Ramsey, New Jersey, having an absolutely stellar season. All GNAC first team, leading the team in kills, attempts, aces, and blocks. Filling up that stat sheet and starting off early in this first set.
Leading the team in kills and second in the GNAC with that 402 number. She's having herself an incredible season and is looking to continue that momentum here in Medford.
Jumbo's out of system. Audette sends it over from the back row. Right back into Oliver's hands, and she will find the floor once more.
Stephanie Lee having to bite the bullet on that one. She cut in expecting the tip. She saw an open hand from Oliver, but the tip was not coming right over the block. It was pushed to the middle of the court. Ball behind her. She had no play to be made there. It was just smart play from Oliver.
Farragher right side gets blocked. Lee is able to keep it alive. Riley Farragher will try the same spot. This time, free ball over to Messina Tupea. Yarwood again. And a nice dig coming out from Miller. Johnson & Wales able to keep it alive as Tupea sends it back over. Now Riley Farragher from the middle of the court. And another block up front. Tupea gets another swing, out of bounds it goes. Jumbos win the battle as Gregory and Lightfoot will enter the game.
As you see the game plan already from the Wildcats, feed Oliver, give her the ball as often as you can, and when she isn't, that ball is being put into an unfavorable matchup. Tupea dominated in height by Riley Farragher. Her only chance at getting a point there, because she can't swing through the block or around the block, is to try and hit the top of the hands, but if that's been made, Farragher's kept it on the opposing side of the net.
And again, Yarwood and Cunningham this time provide a defensive jolt, denying that ball, sending it right back into the Johnson & Wales territory.
I'd been talking about it earlier with future matchups. Every team so far today has showcased an incredible right side hitter, and would the Jumbos be able to keep up to that with their outside hitting blocking? Janelle Yarwood says yes.
Peyton Oliver back to serve. 50 service aces on the season. Also has 189 digs, again, listed as a middle blocker. Doesn't seem to be in that position right now. Yarwood gets another swing, and Janelle Yarwood is making a statement early in this first set.
Okay, so Janelle, we see you. You're having yourself a day, okay.
Serve right back to the Jumbos as Yarwood sets back. Back row is dug up, and Cunningham sends it over on 2. They look to Tupea again. Cunningham, such a big factor up front, wins the joust, sending it right back over to the Bobcats. Tupea tries again, and this time Lightfoot and Cunningham combine for the stuff.
Block, but out of bounds, so the point will go over to the Wildcats. However, I was highlighting that Tupea has a bad matchup up against Riley Farragher, an even worse matchup up against Maya Lightfoot. They said it in the senior game. Lightfoot has the highest vertical amongst female athletes at this school. Her block is incredible.
Rotation all around here for the Bobcats. Jagney is in, as well as Daniela Rank, the right side hitter. As the serve from Messina Tupea sails out of bounds. A 9-6 Jumbo lead to open things off. Not necessarily as dominant as some of the other matchups that we've seen so far today, but Tufts certainly, playing some very good volleyball right now.
Well, the other side of that, Andrew, is that this Johnson & Wales team is playing far better out of serve receive than the other teams that we've seen today. Every point so far has been competitive right off from the first contact.
Kara Hissner, the serve setter, sends it over Legree to Gregory, back to Audette from the left side. And Christine Audette fires another one home.
You heard a nice ooh coming out from the Jumbo's bench there. Even I was very impressed by that move from Gregory. The ball just was so easy to set up for Maya Lightfoot. Everyone thinking it's going to go there. But nope, Gregory behind her to Audette. Audette with the kill.
A setter dump. It looked like Jagney was going to go for it, but instead it will be Lightfoot over. Set back to Oliver. Light foot on the right side. With another incredible kill. I am lost for words at this point. Everybody is rolling on the Jumbo's offense right now as a quick timeout is called by Coach Michael Houlihan.
Usually we see a lot of balls being run through the middle for the Jumbos, whether it be giving Grace Legree the 31 ball that she's come to know and love, or Cora Cunningham running that slide option. The pin hitters, however, for the Jumbos today are showing up. Janelle Yarwood showing that she's got every shot in her toolbox from hard angle to line and just booming it wherever she wants to put it. And Maya Lightfoot doing what she does best when you give her no block, sending the ball through the floor. I'm also at a loss for words, Andrew. I don't know how people keep letting her get away with it.
That's the vertical you were talking about, right? You just are able to set yourself up at such a high angle that there's almost no response possible for anyone on Johnson and Wales. Doing incredibly good stuff right now. Jumbos are looking incredibly clean, which again is some of the problems that we have seen from them, struggling to get out the gate early. That's not an issue today. They are locked in and ready to go here in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think they came up with a great game plan coming into today's game. I have to imagine that the staff did the same job that we did, where they looked at Johnson and Wales and they saw exactly what's being demonstrated on the court. It really is the Peyton Oliver show. The ball is going to go to her as often as humanly possible. You can try and get her from the back row, from the front row, whatever it is. The ball is going to find her swing. And if that continues to be the plan, it's just going to become so predictable, so easily readable. You really need to get your other hitters going so that you can play better volleyball and not be so predictable.
Oliver is dug out by Yarwood. Grace Legree into the middle. Is another dig over to Peyton Oliver, as doesn't look like Rank was able to get up to that set. And just a ball handling error there on the side of Johnson and Wales.
Rank wanted to come in and have a better matchup, trying not to face the block of Maya Lightfoot. Just wasn't able to get a hand on that one, set just above her head.
And it looks like a double on the setter, Kira Hissner. Just kind of unforced errors on the Johnson and Wales side so far.
Errors may be unforced, but they are enough to warrant a substitution coming in. We're going to get a new look at a setter here for the Johnson and Wales team. Hissner seemingly struggling.
Sets up an opportunity for Oliver, and it seems like that pass was all but successful. Number 11, Savannah Campbell, the sophomore, entering the game and maybe staying in the game with a nice pass.
Yeah, it's great use of the back row attack there from Oliver. It's, I believe, her fourth time that she took an attack from the back row, so the game plan is seemingly just give the ball to her whenever you can and hope that she can produce.
Audette with a strong swing right down the middle, but it lands out of bounds. Point over to the Bobcast.
That one was very close. You saw the line judge hesitate for a second. In the end, making the right decision there. That did look like it was going out of bounds. We do love to see the play coming out from the Jumbos using the 2-ball. Hopefully Christine Audette is able to remedy that the next time that she goes for it. On the other side, Johnson and Wales, if you're being given points, you have to continue to score. The Jumbos are showing that the majority of the points that they're giving you are off of their own errors. You're not really doing your work to earn points and keep this one competitive. It's really just the Jumbos winning basically 20-2 right now, but giving 6 points over to the Johnson and Wales team.
And another shot hits the antenna on the side of Johnson and Wales as the Jumbos have rotated all the way back around, and Maddie Yu with 37 service aces on the season goes back.
It seems like every time that you say that, Andrew, a set becomes imminent, or ace becomes imminent. Said it in the last game twice, and then immediately followed up were aces. Second timeout already being called here by the Johnson and Wales coaching staff. Their score doubled Jumbos up 16-8, and Andrew, they really haven't done anything wrong so far this set. They've had a couple of service errors. They've had some dives that haven't caught up to the ball off of the back row attack from Peyton Oliver, first one that comes to mind. But they've really just shown up and played their game. They're running plays where they want to. The swings aren't so predictable. It's going everywhere. Everyone's getting a rep. I don't think there's a single Jumbo out there who's swung at the ball and doesn't have a kill right now.
And the Jumbos are doing their best attempt at hitting their peak at the right time in the season. of course, struggling a little bit towards the beginning. Some injuries from players like Maddie Yu caused them to drop a couple of games here and there. But their last weekend in the NESCAC tournament as Wesleyan was some of the best volleyball that we've seen them play, going 9-1 in terms of sets, ending with a 3-1 victory over the number 12 ranked team in the country in Wesleyan.
Yeah, they're really starting to climb upwards. You know, you talk about in sports when it comes to great teams hitting a ceiling, and how anytime that you hit that ceiling, you want to break through, set a new ceiling. You have your goals meetings where you want to figure out what it is that we want to accomplish out of this year. Set them small and then reach for the stars and try and go high. And as this Jumbos team continues to break their own ceiling, accomplish the goals that they have, they just keep setting new goals that seem all the more achievable every time that we come out and see them play.
Jumbos with an 8-point lead. As Campbell looks over to Miller. Johnson and Wales trying to get going on the offensive end, but Audette is able to reach that ball over. Was that some topspin to get that ball down?
Oh yeah, Andrew, she snapped right over that ball. That way it looks like it's going out, but it just has so much RPM and force driving it down, so it falls at the end and tails, finds a hole on the court. It's a beautiful swing.
Over to Miller again. Quick attack, Grace Legree, bread and butter, Tufts Jumbos.
That's her favorite swing right there, the 31 ball, and who better to give it to her than Maddie Yu. Since Maddie has come onto this team, she has been absolutely incredible, hitting the 1,000 career assist mark in just 2 years of playing. She's been an incredible staple point for the Jumbos and should continue to be going into next year as well.
Is averaging nearly 6 assists per set as a player in a 6-2, which means that she's only doing about half the work, supposedly. Some really good stuff coming
She's
out
putting up numbers very similar to that of some teams here that we've seen run 5-1s.
Farragher's shot is dug out. Miller with a strong swing. Johnson and Wales getting onto the board as Miller will come away with a kill.
Great swing coming out there from Sarah Miller. I mean, finds a seam in the block, manages to get on top of the ball, so much so that the topspin just has it drop on the back line with force. It's beautiful.
Overpass, but Lee is able to dig it out, send it over on 2. Campbell looks again to Miller, this time ball sailing out of bounds. The Jumbos off to a very good start here in this first set. They are up 19-10, looking to close this one out sooner rather than later.
Unforced error from Sarah Miller there. She had one block up against her, noticed that and was trying to take that angle shot while there was no block from Grace Legree. Just wasn't able to get on top of that last one.
Go to the right side. Oliver wasn't able to get to it in time, but some miscommunication by Lee and Farragher means that the ball kind of just fell in there between the two of them.
Not the prettiest of points for the Jumbos, but the Wildcats will definitely take it. Miscommunication as to whether or not Legree was going to go up and swing or who between Farragher and Lee was going to pass that one.
Legree! The athleticism out of Grace Legree, you forget how impressive it really is.
It just seems like every time that she jumps up in the air, there's no one there to block her, and even if there is, she's just so crafty with her ball placement. Always able to find a seam, always able to find a hole. You know, sometimes she'll get dug up. That ball getting called in on the back line, kill over to Peyton Oliver. Now that she's back in the front row, hasn't had a whole lot of reps, which is exactly what we wanted to see. We wanted to see people like Sarah Miller step up, get some reps. That way that you can run the offense without being so predictable, without knowing that the ball is going to be going to Peyton Oliver every set.
You expect it to be a little bit more on that side now as Miller is in the back row. Campbell over to Oliver. Nice dig coming out from Christine Audette. They'll go to Yarwood on the left side, but it's blocked hitting the antenna, which means the points go back over to the Jumbos. Now the 21-12 lead.
The problem with the matchup that Johnson and Wales has right now is when Peyton Oliver is in the front row, she's facing against one of the strongest defenses that I've seen in volleyball. Stephanie Lee is an incredible libero, and behind her you have Christine Audette, who has done magic defensively from that back line.
And the two setters that play back row, Gregory and Yu, in that 6-2 also do their fair share. You know, both of them averaging over 1.5 digs per set. Maddie Yu averaging nearly 3 digs per set. The defense is always very solid here for the Tufts Jumbos, even with some of their swingers in the back row. Nice dig coming out from Oliver. And Tepea's shot finds the back of the line. Johnson and Wales staying alive in this game. Going to need a really big service run right here with Peyton Oliver back at the line.
Oliver, their superstar, showing she can do it all. She can swing from either the front or back row. The blocking presence is there. Her serves have been enough to go on runs. She's got the short serve in there too, and the dig. Oh my, the dig.
Maya Lightfoot back into the game and sending another kill into her scorecard. The Jumbos really just spreading the wealth incredibly well here in this first set. 3 points away from that first set victory.
Continuous service errors here, Andrew. If you're Johnson Wales, you take it, but you have to wonder what the score would be and whether we'd be in a second set right now had those service errors been minimized for the Jumbos.
See Hallie Medici back to serve, the defensive specialist. 15 service aces on the season. Zoe Gregory sends it up to Audette right down the line, but just out of bounds.
Swinging that one outside the antenna. She saw that she had the line shot available. Part of what happens when you have a delayed block is it means that someone's just going to jump up wherever. Usually that means you're losing your hard angle shot, and if you can't successfully hit that line shot, you're usually going to end up putting it out of the antenna. Exactly what Audette did there.
Audette's shot gets tipped. Campbell will look to rank, but that ball also sailing out of bounds. Johnson and Wales right now struggling to keep the ball within the lines.
Their hitters are just struggling to get on top of the ball. It's, you know, one of the more crucial parts of the swing is the ability to get on top of the ball and drive it down instead of long.
Oliver on the back row. Legree almost came away with a very impressive solo block, but it will be Peyton Oliver picking up another kill. 23-17 deficit for the Bobcats has shrunk to 6. More substitutions in. Rank heads back to the bench. Nicole Abril, the freshman out of Kissimmee, Florida, will go back to serve. Gregory over to Lightfoot, out of bounds again. Jumbo's leaving the window open for a potential comeback here for Johnson and Wales. We saw some crazy comebacks in our last game between Babson and Swarthmore, Jordan. And maybe that's just in my mind a little bit too much, but always have to keep that in mind. Yarwood gets dug out by Abril. Campbell looks over to Miller, and the block goes inbounds this time by Lightfoot and Legree.
Miller swinging into the net on that one, going to end the service run, put the Jumbos at 24 points, looking to take away their first set, and who better to get it done than their best server, Maddie Yu.
6 set points for the Jumbos as they look to take a convincing first set victory over Johnson and Wales. Overpass to Farragher, will swing. Miller tries for a shot. As Farragher gets another opportunity here, a diving Abril won't be able to catch it, and Riley Farragher will send the Jumbos back to the benches after a set 1 victory.
25-18 the final score there. Andrew, maybe it was just me, but did that feel incredibly fast-paced to you?
I mean, we're already done with the first set. I feel like there were some other sets that were much more lopsided that might have lasted even longer.
25-18 shows comparative score, but just the pace of play here in this matchup has just been just something else. Both teams really knowing what their strong suits are and showcasing it. For Johnson and Wales, it's Peyton Oliver and Sarah Miller. And there hasn't been a lot of, great rallies going on, but I don't know whether or not that speaks to just the level of offensive prowess that both of these teams have, with the ability to, off of serve, run their offense and just find a kill almost immediately, or whether it speaks to just how great individual players are, whether it's a team dynamic or if it's a personal player dynamic. Because on one side you have Peyton Oliver, who's doing a whole lot of work for this Johnson and Wales lineup, and on the other side you have Jumbos spreading the love, everyone chipping in, getting 3-4 kills apiece. It's really an interesting battle to see here. Can a single superstar defeat a well-rounded lineup?
And right now it has really been that one-woman battle for Johnson and Wales as we take a look at some of the individual statistics. 13 swings out of Peyton Oliver, which makes a lot of sense. You also see Sarah Miller with 11. The only difference is, while Oliver has 6 kills, Miller only has 1, 4 errors to boot, a total combined hitting percentage of negative .273. So you see Johnson and Wales trying to get the rest of the team involved, but they aren't able to find success just yet.
Yeah, Andrew, and the problems go beyond just the one-woman show featuring, some Sarah Miller attempts. I mean, 11 is nothing to be undersold. That is a substantial amount of attempts, but 4 of those times that she's swung have been errors, not great. You also have 2 other girls with negative hitting percentages. In fact, the only one who's positive aside from Peyton Oliver is Messina Tupea, and her swings weren't, the best of swings, as she was facing a severe height disadvantage, just doing her best to try and find the tops of hands or whatever seam she could. So that's a very big turnaround when on the other side you have the Jumbos, Grace Legree, 2 kills on 4 attempts for a 500 clip, and Janelle Yarwood 4 on 7. It's anyone who's had a hitting attempt with the aside of Cora Cunningham has a kill here today. It's really showing, so far at least, 1 score over to team all-around good players versus 1 superstar.
I feel like we say well-rounded attack from Tufts very often whenever we have been covering them here in Cousins Gym. Quick note, I would like to apologize for any Johnson and Wales fans on the broadcast. They are the Wildcats, not the Bobcats. Somehow I got that mistaken on my note sheet. Jordan and I were up pretty late filling out storylines and the like for some of these teams, so no better way to do it. But again, apologies. The Wildcats now down 1-0 and are looking to try to turn it around here as they will receive serve in the second set.
Now, some other big stats to note from that first set. The Jumbos put up 4 blocks in the 1 set, which I believe doubles their average. They're usually around that 2 blocks per set mark. Also, the Jumbos had 5 service errors, so 5 of those 18 points that the Wildcats have were all of Jumbo errors.
Starting off the second set here. Another passing error as Hissner re-enters the game. Has been the starter the entire season for Johnson and Wales, has over 700 assists on the season, but struggling a little bit to get things together right now for the Wildcats. To Audette, first swing is a successful one for the Jumbos in the second.
I'm still a little bit in shock here, Andrew. We're typically used to this Jumbo lineup running as much as they can through the middles, but it really has been these pin hitters that are the stars of the show today.
They'll go to Tupea from the right side, finding the baseline, and Johnson and Wales picks up a clean kill to get the ball back on their side.
Tupea showcasing exactly why she's in this lineup right now. She doesn't have the best of matchups when she's swinging from the outside, but from the right side against the smaller block of Christine Audette, she's really showing her power and showcasing her stuff.
Looks to Audette again, and Oliver unable to grab that one. Christine Audette with 2 early kills in this second set, as she has really been the primary focus, as you said, of this Tufts offense so far.
Those 2 kills will make her the kill leader so far for the Jumbos. That's total up to 5.
And Daniela Rank finally gets on the board for the Wildcats. The right side hitter averaging about 1.36 kills per set at right around a 200 hitting percentage, that Mendoza line, as you would say in baseball.
That 1.36 kills per set number is rather low for an outside hitter. It really just goes to show the volume of sets that Peyton Oliver gets in this offense.
Yarwood, with authority, finds the bottom left corner once more, as there's just really nothing that you can do about that if you're trying to defend on the side of Johnson and Wales.
Janelle Yarwood is having herself a day right now. That'll be her 5th kill, 5 for 8. It's just, you love to see it.
Johnson and Wales looking for a response here with Miller, but they won't find it. Sailing out of bounds once again. Struggles once more for Sarah Miller to start off the second.
And Johnson and Wales seemingly clueless as to what they're going to do with their offense when Peyton Oliver is in the back row. They've tried to run her in the back row, but it hasn't shown much success when she is back there. They can give it to her, but you're not going to get a great swing. You're not going to have a great approach. If you're on top of the ball too much, then the ball goes into the net. It's really a big question mark as to what you can do to try and rotate and get her back up in the front.
The right side, Miller gets blocked in solo fashion by Janelle Yarwood. performing on both ends of the court, can do some offense, can do some defense as well.
It's a beautiful block right there. Solo matchup, you really need to at least try and get a hand on it, and Janelle Yarwood puts up 2 and sends it over.
And a much-needed point. Hissner with the setter dump, seemingly the only opportunity that they can get to score on the offensive end.
And it's just a very clean setter dump, too. When you're in the front row like that, you can go up with 2, drop your inside hand, and just flick it down. It was very beautiful work there from Hissner.
And a joust is won at the top of the net by Peyton Oliver. Her and Cunningham went up, and Oliver went down with another kill over to the Wildcats.
We've seen Cora Cunningham throughout the season really struggle with that 31 ball. Some days she's on, some days she's off, and usually when she's off, it takes her 2 or 3 reps. They just try and force it to her and get her back into shape.
Jagney and Miller contributing on that block up there. Audette with a leaping shot. An acrobatic attempt and an acrobatic kill over to Christine Audette.
Christine Audette broad jumping like 8 feet forward there, floating in the air, goes up with one hand, tip right over the block, falling into the donut hole. That was just clean all around. We've seen her tip game up at the net and showcasing it even more in the back row.
8-4 Jumbo lead here in the second set. They go to Oliver, and another double on the side of the Wildcats. Kara Hissner really just unable to get things together right now.
Coach Michael Houlihan not enjoying what he's seeing right now from his setter. Went to a substitute in the first set, and it seems like every error that has come Hissner's way makes him more inclined to go back to her as well.
That is now 4 ball handling errors on Hissner. She has the same amount of ball handling errors as assists on the night. Campbell, the setter that replaced her, has 6 assists. Yarwood from the left side gets absolutely clobbered. If you're a volleyball, you do not want to see Janelle Yarwood's hands anywhere near you.
No, because with the way that she's playing today, it's either going to be a block and you're going to be hard put to the floor, or it's going to be a swing and you're going to be even harder put to the floor.
They go to Oliver. Her tip goes way out of bounds. The Jumbos off to another strong start in this second set. And you're going to hear a timeout called by the Wildcats as Michael Houlihan in his first season wants to talk things over with his team.
Yeah, Michael Houlihan having a great first season. I mean, he's in the NCAA tournament, won his conference in his first season as a head coach. Really shows, you know, what he and this coaching staff mean to this Johnson & Wales community. It is a little unfortunate, you know, that they've had to find some of the Jumbo's best hitters on their best days. You know, both Maya Lightfoot and Janelle Yarwood showing up today in strong fashion. Janelle Yarwood without a hitting error so far today. It's absolutely impeccable numbers coming out from her right now. And if you're Johnson & Wales, you know, your strategy throughout the season has been use Peyton Oliver to the best of her ability, but that's not working for you right now. And you've tried shifting away from it. You've tried going to some other, you know, hitters using Tupea, using Miller, but that's also not really working for you right now. You need to just start playing scrappier volleyball and try and force some Jumbo's errors. You know, if you need to tip the ball instead of getting swings and put the ball towards the setter to put the Jumbos out of system, that might be the better course of action. Do what you can to try and get yourself a free ball. That way you can run a combo play with Peyton Oliver. We've seen her hit the back 1 ball for a kill. Maybe you go back to something like that, have her come in and do a stack for a 2 ball. You really just need to change up the looks that Oliver is having versus the block, and you also need to try and force the Jumbos to be out of system, because it seems like when the ball is being set up in the air, it is ending in a kill.
Hissner remains in the game. Yarwood set back to serve, extending the Jumbo lead to 7 with another beautiful service ace.
I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Out of timeout, the most important point is the next one, and when you can win it with an ace, it's just all the more sweeter.
And that's another one. 2 straight service aces out of the timeout. Not what you want to see out of Johnson & Wales. Janelle Yarwood, I believe that is her 20th ace of the season. And if you look around the stat sheet, she basically do it all, cracking 200 digs, 250 kills, now 20 service aces. This time not so lucky as this sails into the net. Is there such thing as like a 2 true outcome? You know, in baseball, there's the 3 true outcome hitter, where there's either a home run, a strikeout, or a walk. Is there a 2 true outcome server in volleyball? Is that a term?
No, I mean, you can certainly see it sometimes, but it's not ever, that case, because aces really don't, they don't always come off of the back of a great serve. They usually come off of defensive miscues and shanked passes.
Feels like we've been seeing some of that today. Oh, Det! If you're on the left side and you're on the jumbos, you are in for a great night, it seems, as everybody has been contributing. Now 14-6 in the second set. Cunningham back to serve. Hissner goes to Tapea, and her shot goes flying into the back of the padding.
Back of the padding, but not before it hits a block on the way. Very skillful move there from Tapea. We talked about this earlier where she's losing the height matchup, and what you do there is you just need to try and hit for the top of the hands. Tapea doing it to perfection right there, finding the very top, meaning that there's no deflection and no force taken off of it. Ball's just going to keep sailing out.
Oliver with the dig, go right back to Tapea. And the jumbos are able to pick it up. It's a now free ball opportunity. They're going to go to the back row. And another ball handling error out of Kira Hissner. Don't know exactly what's going on. This is not something that we've seen by Johnson and Wales this season.
That's just a gift coming out there for the jumbos. They were out of system. They were putting a free ball over, and that was going to be a quick tempo back row attack from Peyton Oliver. Lucky to get the ball back, but they'll send it right back over off of the long ball from Maddie Yu. Not the right sport to be sending it deep.
A lot of baseball talk today. I mean, on this broadcast at least. Lee with a bit of an overpass, but Farragher's able to recover it for the jumbos. Now Hissner looking for a middle blocker in Jagny, but again, some miscommunication on the ball handling side for the Wildcats.
That's exactly what you don't need to see as a Johnson and Wales fan. You haven't been having a lot of success running through Peyton Oliver. You really need other girls to start stepping up. And if the middles aren't going to work, then you just become predictable. And when the jumbo pin block is as strong as it is, it's all the more difficult to get rolling.
Hissner gets denied. Legree sends it over on one. They go over to Oliver. Her strong swing again sailing out of bounds. Wildcats not able to find any answers right now. They're down 9 here in this second set.
And the jumbos really just coming out here and minimizing the errors that they had in the first set. They had a couple of hitting errors, a lot of serving errors, and now that those have been minimized, they're showing their brand of volleyball and hold a commanding lead here in the second set.
Free ball, they go to Legree on the swing, but a nice block up front. Jagny punishes a bit of a mistap by Legree on that shift over to the right side.
The jumbos getting excited. They try running a combo play, have your right side come in for a 2-ball, your middle go out for a slide. That ball from Maddie Yu just pushed a little bit too close to the pin. Grace Legree forced to take a hard angle, and when the block is there, that one will get blocked 100% of the time.
Now Abro back to serve. Yu sends it over to Yarwood. The tip over the hands of the blockers will be recovered by the Wildcats. They'll send it over by the hands of Miller, and Farragher fires one down on the right side. The cross shot yields another kill for the jumbos.
I skipped over it, or I glossed over it in between sets, but Maddie Yu and Zoe Gregory had 4 assists out of the first set, and Stephanie Lee had 3. She's right up there. It's almost as if the jumbos were running a 3-setter offense. And with the way that Stephanie Lee just gave that ball to Riley Farragher, it was like butter, so smooth, no rotation out of her hands, and that's just another one on the board for her there off of the Farragher kill.
Jumbo's offense just really working in full force, hitting 311 so far off of 19 kills, 5 errors, 45 attempts. Johnson and Wales have 5 more total attacks, but their kill percentage is in the negatives, -0.2 off of 13 kills and 14 errors.
That's just incredibly rough. You really have showcased that your hitters are struggling right now, and it seems like Johnson and Wales' strategy to get out of this is to just swing harder, but that's not really paying off right now. In attempting to swing harder, they're not getting on top of the ball and they're sending it long. That just goes down as another error, which just makes the stats seem even worse and not really showcasing that you are playing a pretty solid game all the way around, especially when your star player is being as locked up as she is.
And Oliver's hitting percentage continues to dwindle was previously in the 300s, now at 188. Still without a kill in this second set. Won't find it there. Maddie with a nice dig. They go to Farragher on the right side. And Oliver will send it over. An overpass for the Wildcats. Yarwood gets a swing. And the block coming out from Jagney was not enough. Jumbos again rolling up 10 in this second set.
Ha, I saw what you did there. Roll bows. It was good.
The bows are rolling. Sometimes you're so good you don't even remember what's going on. A block up by Farragher and Cunningham, but it goes out of bounds. You see the defensive presence is there, not always resulting in those successful blocks, but Jumbos again playing good defense all ends of the court.
Yeah, and I talk about giving that line shot up and contesting the other player to do it. The other thing that it does is it leaves a massive seam, just like that one that Riley Farragher took advantage of.
Miller only 5'8", just gets overpowered when facing a solo assignment against Riley Farragher over on that right side.
Yeah, that's one of the highlight points for the Jumbos and has been for as long as I've been here, is the height dominance out of the right side. Usually, you know, opposing outside hitters try to match up height-wise but aren't able to match the verticals, and right now Sarah Miller not able to do either. Another
free ball. They're going to send it back to Janelle Yarwood. Oliver got a piece. But Miller, again, continues her struggles on the offensive end. Still with 2 kills now and 7 errors on 16 swings.
It's going to warrant a substitution coming out here. It's going to be Isabella Alfonso coming in, replacing Sarah Miller, looking for some new looks in that outside hitting position, looking to see if they can score some more points and counteract as that's a killer.
Was that a rotation call?
That is a rotation error call.
You see Houlihan just talk things over with the referee to make sure that his point is understood. Was there any specific thing that they were trying to do with the rotation that they kind of got caught?
Rotation errors are a little bit of a tricky one to understand and to see. It's usually pretty difficult. Typically the way that it works is that you can't stand outside of a player who is, if you're in the front row and in that front right position, if someone's to your left, you cannot cross over them when you are in serve receive. Right there, Houlihan, knowing exactly what he's talking about, ends up going as a replay.
And Audette finds a beautiful dig, diving to collect the ball. Yarwood sends it over, but now Johnson and Wales gets a full opportunity with Peyton Oliver up front, and Gregory's able to keep it alive. Now Tufts get an opportunity. Zoe Gregory looks over to Cunningham on the slide. And a nice defensive effort by Abril. But Johnson and Wales playing defensively. Maya Lightfoot goes for a push. And they give the point over to the Jumbos off of another blown whistle against Johnson and Wales.
Net violation called on Alfonso. I'm not a huge fan of the play that the Jumbos were trying to run there. A back one slide move. And both times that they tried to run it, neither Maya Lightfoot or Cora Cunningham was really prepared for that play to happen.
Peyton Oliver getting onto the board. A much needed kill out of her first of this second set. And even if it doesn't, necessarily turn around this set, can hopefully get her going for the third.
That needs to be the turning point play if you are the Wildcats. You need to let that carry momentum through the rest of this game.
Cunningham's shot hits the ground. They will give the point over to the Jumbos, and another whistle blown, this time against Tupea.
Net violation being called there. I believe that was against Peyton Oliver.
Jumbos with a 12-point lead. Hissner looks over to Alfonso, who just entered the game, and she will collect a kill for the Wildcats. Isabella Alfonso, the sophomore out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. We've had some international players today. We've had a couple of Canadians. Of course, Sarah Miller out of Scarborough, Ontario. And also Martina Yankovic-Chin over on Babson out of Croatia. Cunningham, quick attack down the middle. It is just that easy.
3 girls went up to try and block Cora Cunningham, but no one was lined up exactly with her. So Cora Cunningham, with the massive seam in front of her, decides to just swing it right into the arms of Peyton Oliver and finds the floor.
Set point for the Jumbos. Cunningham back to serve. They'll send it up. Rank is able to get it over, and Grace Legree will get dug out by Corbett. Oliver from the right side is tipped. The pancake unsuccessful, and Johnson and Wales stay alive for another point.
Very scrappy point there coming out from Johnson and Wales, showcasing some defensive flashes there from Corbett. She's a two-time Libero of the Week in the GNAC, so you know that she can play a very solid defense.
But it looks like no defense will be had there. A service error on the hands of Peyton Oliver. And the Jumbos running away with this second set in even more of a dominant fashion than the first.
25-13, that 5-point difference, Andrew, is the 5 service errors that they had in set number 1. I talked about some things that the Jumbos would want to do between sets 1 and sets 2, and it's always minimized the errors. That's really always been their downfall, is them beating themselves. And right there, they minimized the service errors, and they had an even more commanding victory. For Johnson and Wales, you really do need to just stop playing as aggressive as they are right now. It needs to be a completely different game plan going forward. You know, you're trying to run Peyton Oliver too much. She's getting overworked and she's getting red. She's still finding kills when available, but it's not going as strong as you would like it to be.
Taking a look at some of the statistics right now. Again, still sort of that one-woman show from Peyton Oliver. 8 kills on 20 swings for a 250 hitting percentage. Somebody that has actually performed well is Messina Tupea over on the Johnson and Wales side. 4 kills on 10 attempts for herself. And maybe she can get a little bit more opportunity here for Johnson and Wales. They are now down 2-0. Need a pretty miraculous reverse sweep to keep the ball, to keep this game alive.
As the live stats come in, Andrew, we have a tie at kill leader for the Jumbo lineup. Any guesses?
4 players, you're saying?
No, 2. Tied at 7 kills, Janelle Yarwood and Christine Audette. Not the 2 players that we usually see leading the team in kills, but today both of them with 7. Christine Audette, 7 kills on 13 total attempts. She's also the attempt leader for the Jumbos for a 385 clip, .385 that is. Janelle Yarwood, 7 for 12 for a 583. And on the other side, Andrew, you actually saw an improvement in team hitting percentage for Johnson and Wales. Out of the first set, as a team, they were hitting .029. They have bumped that up ever so slightly to .033, and that's largely in part due to the 15 hitting errors that they have to the Jumbo 5.
The fact that there's only 5 hitting errors on a team means that some spectacular offense is being played or some not so spectacular defense is being played. And I think it's more of the former than the latter. Of course, Johnson and Wales doing okay on the defensive end. It's really the Jumbos that have had themselves a day. Yeah,
and if you want to look to a stat that really showcases the defensive prowess that the Jumbos are playing with right now, set 2 side-out percentage, 92%. That is basically every time but one. Actually, it is every time by about one. 12 of the 13 times they got the ball back the very next point. That is absolutely insane.
Only 1 receiving error on the side of the Tufts Jumbos. They are, again, doing really good. The only ace, of course, recorded by Messina Tupea. And every single other one of those attempts has been a very very easy set receive for them, so to speak, and they have been able to capitalize with some of the plays that they're comfortable running off of a serve.
Yeah, total attempt leader, as expected for Johnson and Wales, 20 for Peyton Oliver, who's set back to serve right now. They're trying to give her a better matchup when she gets back to the front row.
Really nice dig coming out from Corbett to keep that ball alive. The quick attack. Did Grace Legree even touch that, or is that a kill from Adieu?
I think they're going to give it to Grace Legree, but honestly, I don't know. I blinked, and the second later, the ball was on the other side of the net.
Just a little encouragement swing. Get over there, you.
That's one of the you can do it champ shoves.
Going to the middle is Rank. Lee will set up Farragher, and Riley Farragher, again, showing her domination on this right side, has really had a spectacular game. That is now, I believe, 4 kills for her.
And that's what Riley Farragher offers from the right side. She's not going to swing hard to the court. She's not going to put it down the line. Instead, what she's going to do is she's always going to look for those outside hands and take the free points where they are, using the block to her advantage.
Tapea back to serve for the Wildcats. A really nice serve. Catches Yarwood a bit off guard. They will still get it over, but now a nice opportunity for Johnson and Wales to set up a play. They'll go to Rank down the middle, and Legree is able to save it. And they will call the point in favor of Johnson and Wales. Was that a net violation again by Legree?
That was a net violation. They're going to say that when Legree was trying to pass and her swing up, her hands hit the net.
2-2. Yu sets up Legree. Nice dig coming out from the Wildcats. They'll get another opportunity here for the Jumbos, though. Farragher on the right side is able to send 5 Wildcats shuffling into that spot with nobody able to collect the dig.
Yeah, and there it is again. Farragher's not going to swing for the center of the court. If there's a block against her, she loves to use the tool block to give herself a point and give herself a kill.
They'll go to Rank, who has been used more on the offensive end in this third set, and this time will result in a kill for the Wildcats.
Rare time that you don't see Maddie Yu playing defense first, and very smart play there from Johnson and Wales to see that Yu had vacated her spot defensively, found the open spot on the court. Audette manages to get it up, which props to her for being able to hustle there, but it's just too little too late by the time she gets there. Only option is to force it into the net.
Yu sets up Yarwood. Ball is tipped, but tipped too far as nobody on Johnson and Wales was able to get there in time. Another kill over to Janelle Yarwood. Substitutions coming in as the 6-2 makes its way back around. The freshman Gregory set up a back row for Christine Audette, and it's dug out by Abril. But landing onto the antenna means that another kill will go the way of the Jumbos.
I don't know what's looked better today, Andrew. Christine Audette when she's swinging outside or when she's swinging from the back row. Second kill that I can think of, may even be more, this time with force.
Jumbos now up by 2. And another double called against the Wildcats. Kara Hissner still really unable to get a good set of things together on the offensive end. Now ball handling error number 6 as Corbett sends it over for a free ball. Yarwood on the left side is just, again, a very simple, very dominant nonetheless kill.
Very smart play there from the Jumbos. Off of the free ball, what they did is they pulled Maya Lightfoot over to the middle, draw all the attention to the middle, draws the block in, and gives Janelle Yarwood the line shot that she loves to take.
Diving receive by Abril. They'll go up to Miller, and she's able to find a cross shot. A much-needed kill over to Sarah Miller, as she really needs to get going for Johnson and Wales to stay in this one.
And that's the adjustment that Johnson and Wales has been rolling with. I noticed it once before, thought it might have been an accident, but now that I see it a second time, it's got to be intentional. They're pulling that outside hitter in so that they don't have to face the right side block.
And the block this time going well for Miller, combined with Jagney as well, as Lightfoot gets pretty handily rejected, which is, again, not something we see very often.
Definitely atypical, but props to Sarah Miller. She's running out of the right side now.
Ball comes over to us in the booth. Nice catch, Jordan.
Can I get a +6 scoreboard right there? That was a easy. I need a touchdown counter.
Oh, my heart's racing right there. Abril sending it up to us. As now Oliver gets a swing. Jumbo's up 8-5 here in this third set. Lightfoot from the right side with another successful attack. Maya Lightfoot now with 4 kills. As again, it's a really well-balanced attack. Everybody's eating on the Jumbo side. And the ball might be eating the net a little bit more than we've been expecting on that serve, Jordan.
Yeah, but if you're the Jumbos, you take an easy error to fix. You know, it's looking like you're going to come out of today victorious and you're going to go on to play tomorrow. And in your pregame warm-ups, all you have to do is your only error really has been these serve errors. And that's a very easy fix.
Miller on the right side. Stuck out by Yarwood. They'll go over to Lightfoot. She's going to have to play it on a bump. And now they'll set up Oliver again. Gregory this time getting a nice hand on it defensively, and Maya Lightfoot will hammer it home for kill number 5.
And that's what Maya Lightfoot does. You know, if she's not able to put the ball into the 10-foot line, she'll just swing for deep corners. Sometimes it looks like it's going out, and even if it is, it's just got topspin on it, so you question whether or not it's going to hit the line. Try and stick your hands out, make a play. But she just gives it too much zip that by the time you make contact, the ball's already behind you.
Tapea finds a nice spot, but a diving Audette's able to keep the point alive for the Jumbos, and Yarwood is able to make Audette's efforts worth it. The outside hitters working in perfect harmony to signal a timeout for Johnson and Wales.
Another timeout going to be taken here from Johnson and Wales. First of this set, but it seems like plenty have been used in this game. They really are doing the very best that they can, and in this set it's honestly working a lot better. They took a change, and instead of having Sarah Miller run at that outside spot, they moved Peyton Oliver there, and Sarah Miller has been swinging from the right side, trying to change the blocking matchup against both Jumbo's hitters and who their own respective hitters will be facing in a block matchup. You saw Miller getting rejected a lot by the opposing right side hitters in Farragher and Lightfoot, and now that she's taking swings from the right side, she's facing a somewhat easier block in Christina Audette, and we've seen her kill numbers increase because of it.
For Johnson and Wales, of course, Miller now sitting at 3 kills, 7 errors still, so that hitting percentage still in the negative. Just trying to get more people involved is what Johnson and Wales seemingly has to do. But again, nobody really, apart from Oliver, has had themselves a terrific night.
You know, you can't help but wonder that if that's a result of how they've played all season long. You know, Oliver has far more kills and attempts than anyone else on her team, and you have to imagine that at some point the team had to have asked themselves, if she's down, what are we going to do? And you know, the way that most superstar offenses work is you have to try and plan for that event, and you have to try and practice and see who can step up and who can be that next big player when your star is not available.
Opportunity here for the Jumbos. Lightfoot on the right side, gets denied. Tapea and Oliver contribute for the stuff.
You know, we say Maya Lightfoot wins a lot of matchups outside, and sometimes that goes to her head, and she thinks that she can just put the ball 10-foot line every single time. Right there, Tapea saying, nah, you can't do that to me, not today. Gets a massive block up against Maya Lightfoot, cuts the Jumbo lead down to 4. Make it 3 as the Jumbo defense is very confused. 2 contacts, can't hear the help call, miscommunication going on between Maya Lightfoot and Grace Legree. Audette not able to get to it in time. And it seems like out of timeout, Johnson and Wales has breathed second life.
Down only 3 now in this third set. Again, their tournament lives, season lives at risk here. And that's not going to help. They're going to call, I believe, Tapea on an error there, on some sort of violation.
That's going to be a net violation, I believe. And the confusing thing about volleyball is a 0 is nothing, and a fist means 10. So I think that was actually against Peyton Oliver.
Johnson and Wales looking for something. Peyton Oliver is able to get a nice kill down the line. And Wildcats staying alive in this game, only down 3. Gonna have to make a good service run here with Oliver back.
You know, we were talking about who needs to step up offensively, but it appears that the answer needs to be nobody, because if the defense can step up and can limit the amount of kills that the Jumbo's lineup is dishing out, then you can continue to give the ball to Oliver, and you just have to try and outlast and have your superstar beat the well-rounded opponent.
Legree's shot is partially blocked, but a diving Corbett unable to keep the possession alive. Jumbos with another really nicely coordinated offensive effort. Send it over to Tapea. Blocked, but just out of bounds. Farragher and Legree got a nice hand on it. but the angle that the trajectory took off of them is not good enough.
Stroke of luck, excuse me. I don't know how I got that mixed up. Coming out there for the Wildcats. Block just rolling across the net and going out of bounds.
Farragher with the tip. Will be ranked just sending it over. Yu looks to Legree. Not as quick as they normally can do it. It looks like Grace Legree is going to make up for maybe not a kill that she was expecting, but a massive block by herself.
As a middle, you love when back row attacks happen because you have all the time in the world to read where the swing is going to go. Off of contact, you try to be in the vicinity and just cut off the straight forward shot that whatever back row hitter is taking. And when the ball's in the air, you have all the time to adjust. And Grace Legree doing just that, able to give herself a block. Stephanie Lee with an uncharacteristic failed attempt at a dig. Not sure what happened there, but trading points back and forth keeps the Jumbo lead at 3.
Nice kill there. Miller had a really athletic leap to the ball in that back row. They'll pick up another one. Lead still 3 for Tufts. They'll feed it to Farragher right off the serve again. Running is Abril, but she will run not fast enough.
Riley Farragher wanting a piece of the action here, trying to say to both Christine Audette and Janelle Yarwood, what you can do, I can do too.
15-11. The Jumbos are 10 points away from a date with Babson tomorrow night.
Back and forth trading, still keeping that 3-point lead. Service error coming in from Zoe Gregory. This is not what the Jumbos want to be seeing. They have proven in the second set, more specifically, that they are the better team. And right now they're giving Johnson and Wales every opportunity to claw back in and push this one to 4.
They tried that slide again with Cunningham. No kills. Ball's tipped up by herself and Maya Lightfoot. They'll send it to the other side of the court. And Yarwood has Abril sending it into the skies. Still able to keep it alive as Miller sends it back. And Lightfoot just finding the line. That one right on the border right there.
Maya Lightfoot read that the stack play was going to happen. No one jumping with Cora Cunningham. Facing against 2 players blocking her. Maya Lightfoot just looks to where the third one wasn't and put it back down to the ground.
Oliver on the right side finds an angle. Keeping that lead within 3. Of course, it's nice to be trading points if you're Johnson and Wales, but you got to remember, you are still down with your tournament lives at stake here.
Yeah, trading back and forth just keeps the point deficit to a minimum. You just need to hit that break point where you stop trading and you are able to bring this one down to 2 and then down to 1 so that you're not at risk of losing by the win by 2 rule.
There's a nice effort there by Audette and Cunningham on the block, but just not enough. I believe the Jumbos are going to call themselves a timeout. That is Cora Thompson's first of the match, which means, they see Johnson and Wales starting to build up some momentum, and they want to stop it right here and nip it in the bud.
Yeah, Coach Thompson is seeing exactly what we've been saying up here. It should not be as close of a set as it is, largely in part because the Jumbos are just making uncharacteristic errors. Stephanie Lee sticking out an arm for a dig and then shanking a pass. A lot of service errors coming back into play this set as well. But the other part as to why this is a lot more close than the second set is because of the defensive increase that has happened on the side of the Wildcats. They're starting to dig up a bunch of hard hit balls and keep plays alive, making the hustle play to get the second contact off of a not great pass and keep things going. They've taken off a lot of their swings so that it's not necessarily as hard of a hit. It's been more roll shots, it's been more tips, and that has prolonged points to the point where you can go back to Peyton Oliver when she has a solo match, and as showcased 2 points ago, she wins those.
And it seems like the hardest thing that Johnson and Wales needs to execute on, that they haven't just yet to much success, is combating what has been an exceptional serve receive for the Jumbos so far. Are you seeing anything by Tufts that is particularly standing out to you?
They're just not getting aced. They're really just making the best effort that they can to keep the first play alive. Speaking of keeping a play alive, that ball ping-ponging everywhere. but in the end falling down to the middle for another kill for Christine Audette. She's nearing, if not having already hit double-digit kills. Just great game all around from her today.
I believe that is Audette's 10th. Lead back to 3. They're going to go to Tapea on the left side, and she is excited, hyping up her teammates a little bit, trying to get some energy back onto the Wildcat side.
And what's really working for Tapea right now is she's able to see the seam in the block. It wasn't up against her the last time that she was in the previous sets where she had a different blocking matchup against her, having to square off against Cunningham, and Lightfoot Cunningham was a little bit better at closing the block, but finding the seam and performing well right now is Tapea.
Another acrobatic tip, and another acrobatic athletic denial by Lightfoot and Legree. The Jumbos once again just performing so well on the side out, able to just get the ball right back as soon as Johnson & Wales comes away with any sort of momentum offensively.
Yeah, we highlighted it, 92% in set number 2. Those are unreal numbers. Getting the ball back is perhaps one of the most underrated parts of the game, and Johnson & Wales getting it back right now themselves. These trading back and forth going to do very well for the side out percentages, but it's also going to showcase just the sheer volume of errors that are coming out from the Jumbos lineup in this third set.
Things you might want to work on here with two very competitive opponents in the NUMAC at the ready later on in this regional potentially. Yarwood sends it over, and Yarwood collects another kill. Number 12 of the night for Janelle Yarwood, as again, Tufts just refusing to let a service run go longer than 1.
12 kills, no errors, 18 attempts for a .611 clip from Janelle Yarwood.
Wildcats able to keep it alive, but now a chance ball. Farragher gets denied and keeps the ball up, but just not enough. Very strong play from Riley Farragher. She always wants to leave everything out on the floor. But Johnson & Wales, again, finding themselves down 2.
Back row heroics from Sarah Miller paying off in the end. Riley Farragher not able to get the ball to the other side of the net, and Johnson & Wales walk away with a very scrappy and very well played point.
They'll set up rank. You looks to Yarwood. And another, this time a double on the Jumbo side. Don't see that very often on their end, as both of their setters are typically very efficient. But now the lead is only 1, sorry. Johnson & Wales can tie it up on this serve from Tapea. Yu goes over to her left. As now will be Oliver, dug out by Yu. Now back to Farragher, and Miller's able to keep things up and running just barely until it hits the antenna. What seemed to be a nearly incredible dig out from Miller. Just not enough this time around.
Hissner doing the best that she can to try and get to the antenna and keep the play alive, not able to find it. But this is exactly what Johnson & Wales wanted. They wanted to go back and forth and then make it a 1-point game. They just need to capitalize and not let the lead grow to 3. If they won that point, it would have been back to a 1-point lead for the Jumbos, which means that the Jumbos would need to work harder to try and win this set. Now that the lead is 3, they have some wiggle room. They can lose one and keep trading back and forth again, as they have all throughout this set, and walk away with a victory.
A very close set between these two teams. Johnson & Wales, of course, still a very strong opponent despite the set score being 2-0 at the moment. You knew that the Jumbos were going to come into this with their utmost preparation. You notice that even though it is a 2-0 set score, the Jumbos not necessarily going with any other substitutions or trying to get any new players into the game. They are rocking with their same 9 that they have for the entirety of this match, and still are being challenged a little bit by the Wildcats this time around.
Yeah, the question is just whether or not it's too little too late here from the Johnson & Wales Wildcats. The first 2 sets, they just weren't playing to the same level that they are right now. It seems like they just needed to shake off some rust and find their form, but might be a little too late as the Jumbos breaking out the bike machine.
That was impressive. They love to do the gym work, right? Whether it's the bike, the bench press. Celebration's always great. Oliver finds a spot. And a much-needed kill off the timeout for Johnson and Wales. Abril goes back to serve. Need a good run right here to keep yourself in this game.
Design play out of timeout. You've been running your front hitters well enough that the Jumbos are not going to be suspecting the back row attack. And Peyton Oliver back there just means you have an incredibly strong hitter to give the ball to. Exactly that is done. And now we're back down to that 2-point lead for the Jumbos.
Farragher again proving the receive very successful. But Johnson and Wales able to recover. Farragher this time will yield an overpass on Johnson and Wales. They'll go to Cora Cunningham, who smashes it home.
Farragher can't do it, but Cunningham can. Incredible defensive heroics yet again from Sarah Miller, keeping that play alive off of the shank pass from Peyton Oliver. But at the end of the day, when the ball comes back over to the Jumbo side of the net, it is Cora Cunningham who says, that one's all mine.
Jumbos are now 3 points away from moving on to the round of 32. Hissner looks over to Miller, shot wide, and the Jumbos pull away to a 4-point lead, which is something that hasn't happened, holding serve on that opportunity.
Stephanie Lee with the read, lets that one fall out of bounds. Jumbos need 2 more to advance to a date with the Babson Beavers tomorrow.
Gregory sets up Lightfoot on the right side. It's picked up by Corbett. Miller gets a kill on the cross. And Johnson and Wales will not go down without a fight.
When it's needed most, Miller is stepping up. She's been making some incredible defensive plays right there, coming a step in so she doesn't have to face Maya Lightfoot's block, takes the angle shot, takes a bit off of her swing too so it doesn't get driven out, and it brings this one back within 3.
To the middle is Yarwood. Looks like Emily Corbett is okay, but not even a time to react. As a defensive specialist player, normally would expect that to, be her specialty, but.
Yeah, liberos are just inclined to pass with their forearms, not happening there.
Match point for the Jumbos, overpass. Gregory to Lee, they're gonna send it over to Christine Audette, the one who started the action in the first set, and she will finish it in the third. The Jumbos will dance for another day as they have a date with the Babson Beavers tomorrow night in Cousins.
25-20 the final score in set number 3. The Jumbos with a 3-set sweep. Excuse me, I'm getting all tongue-tied here today. 3-set sweep for the Jumbos over the Johnson and Wales Wildcats. Congratulations to them on an incredible season. They didn't start coming alive until they were practically already dead. They really didn't show up until the third set when they started trading back and forth, but not before they were already at a 3-point deficit. They managed to claw it back, bring it to 1, but when it mattered most, they were not able to stay in contention. The overwhelmingly strong swings from the Jumbos in the last few points were just too much for the defense to handle, whether it be Maya Lightfoot with a drill that could not be picked up by Corbett, Cora Cunningham sending the ball through the floor, or at the end, Christine Audette doing what she does best, playing the smartest volleyball we know, sending that one off the top of the hands and out of play. The Jumbos put this one away with ease.
And after, a NESCAC tournament dominated by the Jumbo middle blockers, it was the outside hitters, as you said, really contributing. Yarwood with 13 kills, Audette with 11. The Jumbos coming away with a 3-0 victory over Johnson and Wales. We're going to honor the Wildcats as they, of course, have had a successful season themselves. When we come back, Jordan will be talking to Janelle Yarwood about the Jumbos' victory and their remaining steps in the NCAA tournament.
Assistant coach, Maria Miglio, and the head coach of Johnson & Wales is Michael Houlihan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have another round of applause for the Wildcats of Johnson & Wales University for an amazing season. Tomorrow's second round of matchups is set at 4:30. The first matchup will be Scranton and MIT at 4:30, and the second match at 7 o'clock will be
Hello and welcome back to JumboCast. I am Jordan Burke, joined here by today's star, Janelle Yarwood. Janelle, congratulations to you on your first team All-NESCAC recipient. I'm not sure what the correct word for it is, but you made it. You had an incredible season. And alongside you, you had some teammates who were on those teams as well. But your own coach, Cora Thompson, was named the NESCAC Coach of the Year. We caught up with her earlier, and she said it's not just my award. The whole staff did it. So what does it mean for you to be playing under Coach Cora Thompson and the staff that she's put together?
Yeah, well, totally for all of us. We think it's a no-brainer. We always think she should be Coach of the Year. But they constantly push us really hard in practice, know exactly what we need to work on, and tailor drills towards that. And she just really gives us a lot of positivity always. So it's really been a great experience to work under them. And yeah, it's been 4 years with her, so I've loved every moment of it. So yeah.
And all those drills and the hard work that she makes you guys put in really showing off tonight, especially for you. You had an incredible game, 13 kills, 0 errors on 20 attempts. That's a 650 clip, absolutely absurd numbers that you put out today. What was really working well for you today that enabled you to have such a great performance?
Yeah, I got to give a lot of credit to our setters, Maddie and Zoe. They were really getting us the balls with great tempo and placement. And then Steph and Christine in the back row got a lot of the digs that, enabled the setters to get the good balls. So it was a total team effort. So I think we found the court well. We had a lot of people talking to us. So, yeah.
So as a team, you guys hit 391 today. You, of course, hitting 650. Christine Audette having a fantastic game herself, hitting 450. You guys also had a 92% side-out percentage in the second set. Only one time you didn't get the ball back. How do you take stats like that and just an incredible game that you had today and bring it into tomorrow's matchup against Babson?
Yeah, so, it always feels really good to have nights like that. It gives us a lot of confidence for tomorrow, but Babson's a good team. We haven't seen them in a few weeks, so I'm sure they've gotten better. We've gotten better. So just coming out strong, focusing on that serve and pass game like we did tonight, and that's really always our key to winning games. So if we can get that under control, I think it's going to be a really great game.
All right, yeah. Janelle, well, congratulations on today's win, and good luck in tomorrow's matchup. We'll be right back here on JumboCast for that game tomorrow. Janelle, again, thank you, and we'll be right back after a quick break to break down all the events that have happened here today.
Thank you.
Our culture is it's the best. We're just one big family, and we're super inclusive, and we have a ton of fun together. And that's carried through just every year, whether you're a freshman or a senior, you're a leader on this team, and you make a difference in our program. And so we really care for one another, and we just have the best time.
We try to bring it out all on the court every single day, no matter what. I think we try to build connections with every single person so that we can have that same team aspect that we did last year. We're all super close, and we really just all want to win and have that grit and fire and try to carry it to the end of the season.
We take it one practice at a time, one win at a time. Obviously we have high hopes, but it's good to stay in the present moment and get it done.
Hard work, to support each other regardless of who's on the court and who's not on the court, and just to have fun. It's not meant to be something strenuous. We're super competitive, but we still want to remember that we're doing it to have fun and be better.
Right.
Thank you very much, Jordan and Janelle, for the spectacular interview. As once again, we are back just to wrap things up to what has been a very, very busy night and day for us here at JumboCast. Jordan, you were here for all 4 of the games. Any specific moment really stand out to you? Let's pull up the bracket right now to just show where we're at.
Well, I don't think there's any real specific moment. I just got to witness a lot of great volleyball here today. A lot of teams came out, and no real team seemingly slumping. We did have to say goodbye to some great teams out here today, as not everyone can win a match, but at the end of the day, I witnessed some pretty good volleyball, highlighted at the end by my own team winning. That's always going to be a great feeling. But, all around, it was just some really solid play. We got to see some fantastic hitters, great defense, even better setters. The ongoing theme of the service errors, obviously a little bit of a buzzkill, but, seeing great offensive performances kind of outweighs that.
Yeah, of course, Scranton, MIT, Babson, and Tufts all advancing today, which sets us up for tomorrow's matchup, which will again begin right here on JumboCast starting at 4:30 Eastern. Scranton versus MIT, going to be a pretty interesting one again. Scranton had a really dominant game against St. John Fisher and maybe look poised to at least give this ranked opponent a bit of a battle.
Yeah, for both Scranton and MIT, their real highlighting points had been those right side hitters in Lauren Keller and Aaron Keaveney. And when you have two great right side players like that, those two are really going to be good showcase points for tomorrow's first matchup. And then, of course, in the Babson versus Tufts Jumbos game, it's going to be a battle of two very well-rounded teams. You know, the Jumbo showcasing how everyone here today can do it all with incredible hitting percentages, 391 as a team, and Babson just, you know, their incredible comeback story over blanking on a team name right now, Swarthmore. You know, if it has been a long day. If they're able to showcase, you know, the same kind of playmaking that they have, where even if they're down in score, they're not down and out of the game, they can come back, they can win, then that should also be an incredible matchup.
Of course, Babson falling to the Jumbos just a couple of weeks ago in a 3-0 fashion. Not necessarily like that is always what is going to happen. Of course, you remember back to Swarthmore and how they 3-0'd their opponent in Franklin and Marshall in the regular season before dropping to them in the Centennial Conference tournament. Anything really can happen here in the NCAA tournament, and Babson sure to put up a fight. And, of course, as soon as the Jumbos hit that 20 mark, you never really know what's going to happen.
Very well said, Andrew. And the only thing that's going to give us clarity as to how things are going to play out is to get to those games tomorrow and see how they play out. We should be in for some even better volleyball tomorrow than we had today. And today was pretty banger to start. So very excited to see what's going to happen tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining us here today. We ourselves have had a long day. I'm sure you guys have had too, but I hope you enjoyed what we were able to bring you, and hope that you guys can join us tomorrow at JumboCast for that first matchup. Again, that's going to be MIT versus... I'm losing my mind right now. Andrew, please tag in.
MIT going to be taking on Scranton tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. And even though we've had a long day, I am so excited to get back into this gym tomorrow for that matchup. Jordan, you and myself will be on that call for that game before we hand things off to the senior duo of Sam Brill and Henry Stahl for the Tufts matchup against the side of Babson. For all of us here at JumboCast, we'd like to thank you for tuning in for what has been a phenomenal day here of NCAA Division III volleyball. We will see you all tomorrow afternoon for Scranton versus MIT.